Well, this will have to be a short live stream, so I'll just tell you that now. This weekend, I saw a few things go on that are actually among the things that concern me. And by the way, I'm going to go through that dead cell zone, so if you can't see me here in a minute, that's why. One of the things that concerns me is people traveling and you're going to get caught somewhere unexpectedly. This is the kind of stuff that we as preparedness folks have to prepare for, because you can't always. Hey, Teresa. Welcome, and thank you for the 5x5. I appreciate you. These are the kind of situations they're very hard to predict, and they're very hard to plan for. Hey, Tony. And what I'm talking about, there are two instances. One was in Russia, one was in the U.S. Russia, I'm sure a lot of you, hey, Daryl, KP, what's going on? You saw the people go and break into the airport, go after an airplane that was supposedly coming from Israel because it had Jews in it. It seems it's hard to say. I've seen different footage. Hey, Joe. No, they won't kill. Well, they won't kill you because nobody wants to mess with guys like us. But overseas, they were after the airplane from Israel. Hey, what's going on? Oh, hey, Prepper Chick. Hey, Mimi. Hey, Coffee. I missed a few folks in there. I apologize. That's a really hard situation to plan for, Mr. Joe, because you're in an airplane. And you can't bring your gun in an airplane. You typically cannot bring your bug out bag in an airplane. And so you wind up, what does my filter look so stupid? Hold on. Okay, it has no filter. I guess it's just the sunlight is weird. Hey, Kevin. You wind up in a situation where you don't have a lot of options, right? Now, the other situation was in Tulane, in New Orleans, of all places, which is like the middle of evangelical Christendom. And I lived in South Louisiana, and you're either Catholic, Baptist, or Methodist down there. And there's Jewish folks. There's actually a pretty good-sized Jewish community in the New Orleans area. And they were protesting, and they broke out in, hey, Suburban, they had fist fights outside of University of all places. These two are very different, and they're similar. Both are spontaneous, and both have the same undertone of Palestinians versus Jews, or Hamas versus Israel, however you want to phrase it, right? But if you think about it, they're very different scenarios. In one, the Tulane incident, it was not they took out a request to protest, but then they didn't obey the rules, right? They were supposed to be in a certain area where certain things, cones or whatever, and they didn't do that, so the cops broke it up. But that was a situation, even if you were on foot, having lived in that area, you can escape. Like, there's so many. I was in Top Chat. I do that all the time. And attack my nose. I don't know what that is. You can escape a situation like Tulane, right? Hey, Independent, because you're on the ground. Typically, you know your area, right? So you can say, you know what? Those guys look like ass. They're all punching each other. I'm going to go this way. That's the case. You can actually disappear into the riot, right? And then you implement like kind of the gray man strategy or gray woman. You disappear, you go away, low key, nobody will know you're there. The airplane was much more difficult because think about it. You can only carry certain things in your plane. You can only have so much with you. Even if you can bring some EDC, like a flashlight and some basic stuff, you can't bring a knife, you can't bring a gun. You can bring a first aid kit. They'll let that fly. I have a whole video on stuff I've actually brought through TSA to other countries, and I didn't get busted, and they didn't throw it away or confiscate it. In Russia is not only did they get into the secured area of the airport, they actually went around the airplane. So they're trying to disembark these people. They couldn't even get to the terminal. They had to bring the staircase down, and the the occupants had to go down the stairwell, so now they're exposed, not just to the elements, which it wasn't raining or anything, but to whoever the hell's on the tarmac. And the security team couldn't control it. Hey, Daisy. So these are two very different scenarios, but they both happen spontaneously. They both have the same taste or flavor to them, right? It's an Israel versus Palestine, Hamas kind of thing. But you wind up with two very different option sets in the two scenarios. Hey, Cold War. Oh, we're 30 here in West Texas because I'm up on the plateau, so it's freaking cold. It was 27 last night and windy, so yeah, my dogs were not happy. The potatoes would run out and pee real quick and run back in with their heads wet from the rain. But you have two very different scenarios happen, and one you could prepare for. Even if I drove into the Tulane incident, I can probably get out, right? I mean, I drive an F-150. I mean, I'll run people over. I prefer not to do that. But I can finagle. I can just honk, wave to people, and kind of finagle my way out. The worst case, if I have to bail on foot, you have a lot of directions from that university, from where the protests were, that you can go in different directions. The airport, you're kind of screwed. So if you're traveling, and I'm going to have several videos post this week, I got some updates on travel warnings from the State Department in other countries. And this is really meant for those of you who may have to travel during the holidays, right? Because we're getting into the holidays. We're getting into Thanksgiving, Christmas. Not everyone's going to travel, but many of us will. And even my wife's watching things going, you know what? I really don't want to fly this year. Let's drive here. Let's drive there. So we're taking the route on ground because I have more options if there's an emergency to turn around and get the hell out. Getting caught in an airplane, especially not even be able to get out of the airplane, is going to be very scary. Took my wife to the doctor this morning on her side, and I couldn't read that. Oh no, she's not feeling. I'm sorry to hear that, Cold War. Yeah, I'm headed home because our heater, the home heater is not working right. I may have to call a tech for that. It's been a weird day. The whole schedule went down the toilet like at 7:30 this morning. But, you know, it is what it is, part of the gig. Hey, Tiger. But I want you to take lessons, going back to my subject, take lessons from the two scenarios. Because even though they have similar undertones, right? They're both spontaneous, both Israel, Hamas kind of things. The situation is very different from one to the other, right? You can wind up finding a way out on the ground by a broken window or menopause. You can find a way out if you're on the ground. You're by a university, you're in a city. You can blend into whatever it is that's going on. Getting caught in an airplane, in an airport, that's going to be a really tough one because your options are limited, your gear is limited. So if you're going to fly this year, if you're going to travel, do some homework as to what you can and cannot carry on an airplane. Obviously, knives and guns are out. You can still carry flashlights. Last I checked, they'll let those fly. You can carry a first aid kit. To me, the flashlight's super important because if the power goes out in an airport, you're stuck in a strange building with strange people in the dark, and I'm not a fan of that. Having a couple of flashlights or even a glow stick like a Sialoon can make a big difference. Even just going, because you don't know who the hell's in the airport. It could be a bunch of assholes. You don't know. But these are two situations you can learn a lot from. Hey, Moonsprout. But pay attention because this kind of stuff is going to continue to happen. And it's going to continue to get more and more pronounced as we get closer to elections. Yeah, well, you can't bring it into the cabin. You can check it in. To my knowledge, Joe, you cannot carry it in the cabin unless. Now, I don't know what the enhanced carry permit is. I know on a private jet, if the rare occasions like the company was like, this is a charter jet, get on it because you have to go somewhere. Nobody cared because we chartered the whole damn plane. But on a commercial jet, you can check it in. Now, there's an option. You can check it in and go retrieve your firearm on the other side if you land somewhere where carry is authorized. So if I go from, say, Texas to Pittsburgh, my carry permit's good in Pennsylvania. Yeah, correct. Cold War. You have to turn stuff in, unless you're an air marshal. Check luggage doesn't always make it to its destination. Correct, Suburban. So you do have to lock it. You have to remove the ammo. So you can put the ammo in one bag, and it's a pain in the butt, but you can do it and meet your firearm on the other side. What I have done is actually, I've cleared my firearm, put it in the box, locked it, declared it, they inspect it, give it the sticker, goes back in my luggage, lock the luggage. And then I call a coworker on the other side and say, hey, buy me a box of 9mm. And when I land there, he gives me the box and I just, load my weapon there. And that's an option. But hypothetically, putting the gun aside and the knife aside, you're going to have limited options in an airplane that I would not have driving through Louisiana, which honors all my carry and all my permits and all my rifles, etc. Plus, I have friends and family in Louisiana. So I have, I guess you could call it camp-out locations. As I try to get home, if something pops off really bad, I can go somewhere. And I know I can stay there for 24 hours, load up water, load up supplies, and then get the hell out and figure out my next move. Militant, I get so many texts from all sorts of political campaigns, and they're always looking for like John and Harold, like dudes, I don't even know who the hell they are. There's just goofball people. Yeah, whatever you can, going hands-on, yeah, Joe. And there's certain things you can take with you and some you can't. Do some homework if you're planning, hey, XNYC, if you're planning to travel this holiday season, get to know what you can and can't take with you. Because that airport situation could have gotten very ugly very quickly had things turned out differently. And the way our security situation has been in the US, I'm not holding my breath that our security is where it needs to be to stop something like that. What scares me even more is if one of these guys had been a really bad actor and decided, you know what, I'm going to go and blow up the aviation fuel, they would have shut down the airport right there. And probably, imagine that happening here. Someone goes and attacks an airport. They're going to shut down the airports, right? And then it's going to be a big shit show. So watch how those things play out. Tulane was concerning because it happened very fast. It resulted in a bunch of fighting, but because of where it was, you had a lot of directions. Hey, Fed Up, you have a lot of directions with where you could have gone, right? In New Orleans, there are a lot of places. I spent years living just outside of New Orleans. I can disappear into a bar and you won't see me for 12 hours. You may not see me for 36, depending on how good the bar drinks are. But I can disappear. In New Orleans, Houston, Lafayette, New York City, I can not only go gray, I will become transparent. My ass will be a ghost. But you catch me on an airplane in Bufu somewhere, where the hell do I go, right? Especially in another country. I'm like, oh yeah, there's the American. Where's his ass going? So yes, exactly, Farmer. You're very limited. And well, even if they land, where are you going to go, right? And yeah, KP, I've disappeared from my friends by accident. Hey, Red October, in New Orleans. That was usually alcohol induced though, but still, either way, you have a lot more options on land than you do in the air, in an airport, in the airplanes. So folks, if you're traveling and you're going outside, especially you're going outside the US or to a state that may not like you, wear what the locals wear. You hate the Yankees, but wear a Yankees cap anyway, so everyone thinks you're some schmuck from, Brooklyn or Queens. They don't think you're the devil. But folks, pay attention to these kind of situations because they evolve very fast. and they often get out of hand very quickly. Both situations wound up involving fights between either groups or law enforcement. And yeah, to somebody who just put that, Red October's comment, if you don't know what the locals dress like, go on Google Earth, do the street view, and then just go up and down the streets and see what they dress like. And it'll give you a good idea of what you should be wearing so you don't stand out too much. You're going to stand out a bit, you know, if you're from another country. It doesn't matter where you're from and where you're going. You always wind up getting stuck somewhere. You always kind of out of place because you don't know the area. But do your homework and get to know. Hey, Joe. I'm a city boy with a fake country twang. Yeah. So, yeah, keep it basic. Do some homework before you travel. And again, had I been in New Orleans when that popped off and I got caught in it, I could have just honked my way, hey, whatever, yay, wave, and just keep going, act like I'm all friendly. I probably would not have been very interesting to anyone. I don't have, you know, USA flags other than my plates, which are guard plates. So I have the little military logo. Really, people are like, ugly ass pickup truck. Like nobody gives a shit. That's a great place to be. In the airport, your options are limited. So make sure, do some homework. Having a first aid kit, a flashlight, a glow stick is not necessarily a bad idea. I actually took my travel first aid kit, put it in a Ziploc so it's transparent, and I put that in my duffel bag or in my backpack. So the times I have been stopped, they'll pull it out and they'll just see it's Band-Aids, and they ask me, what's that for? And I'm like, because inevitably someone gets cut somewhere. But yeah, if you have to fly, do some extra homework, because Suburban, I'm in the same boat. Right now, no. My past job, I was in airports constantly. Make sure that you do your homework and at least have the flashlights, glow sticks. I'll check a knife, like pocket knives, into my check luggage because they don't give a damn. But there are options you can do in an airplane, at least to give you an option, if nothing else, for visibility. Like I said, we did the active shooter drills. I played a dead guy, right? So I was on the floor dead. And then they carted me off in an ambulance, which was kind of funny. But it gave the paramedics practice, right? They put things on me and then they carted me off. But part of the thing is they turned the lights off on everyone in the base, in the facility, right? So we're laying there in the dark, and it made me appreciate how much having a good flashlight would be if the power goes out in an airport. So yeah, militant, 100% agree, but like Suburban pointed out, it's for some of us, it's job or family. We just have to. If you gotta travel, probably drive it if you can. But if you have to fly, do some homework on your destination. Do some homework on options to get out of the airport if you have to bail the airport. Get to know the area you're gonna be in. Even, yeah, I remember the idiot who set himself on fire in the airplane. Have paper maps of your destination, even if they're simple ones, in your carry-on, in the event you have to bail the plane and you can't get to your luggage, right? Because who's going to unload luggage when there's a riot around the plane, right? You at least have enough to get by. I'm to the point when I fly, in my computer backpack, I still bring extra socks, extra underwear, and a small toiletry kit, toothbrush and toothpaste, so I can at least maintain some kind of semblance of hygiene when I get to the other side. And that works well if they lose your damn luggage in general. But do some extra homework. I've done a few videos of my own experiences, but there are other people who've done videos. Understand. Oh, that's interesting, Suburban. That's just funny. Oh, when the cops came, he ran away. But honestly, do some homework, because both situations happen very quickly. And sadly, the one you thought would have gotten pinched down quickly, the airport, it took them a while to get that under control. Whereas the fight in the streets in New Orleans, NOPD was flooding the area, and they basically arrested a half dozen people, pepper sprayed a couple, and everyone stopped, right? The bullshit ended very quickly because they hammered them. Didn't happen in Russia because it totally caught them off guard. So understand, sometimes the authorities, the guys who are supposed to control it, they can just get plain overrun. So folks, watch these fast evolving situations. They've happened in Minneapolis, they happened in Chicago, they're happening in Europe. That's why France and Germany really clamped down on protests to where they're just throwing fuckers in jail, because they know how quickly it can spin out of control. So if you got to, nothing but a good time. Yeah, well, for the cops it was fun, not for the guy they sprayed. Yeah, he was all baboso on the floor. But be ready, because those can change quickly. So if you're going to travel, I always wear lace-up shoes. And people ask me, well, no, they got to make you take off your shoes in the machine or whatever. I don't give a shit. I'll take my shoes off, but I'm going to put them back on, because the lace-up shoes, if I have to run, they don't fall off. Damn flip-flops will fall off my feet. I want to be able to move, and if I got to kick someone, I want to be able to kick them and still have a shoe when I'm done. So pay attention to how these things evolve. Both happen very fast, and they did not get the airport under control for a good 20-30 minutes from what it looks like, and that's not cool. Any one of those guys could have been a really bad actor, and that could have gotten very ugly very quickly. So yeah, exactly, Suburban. And if nothing else, make sure you bring, when you get to your destination, pack a change of shoes and clothes. I put bug out clothes in my check luggage. I might have suits and shirts and shoes and all that, and I'm going to put a pair of jeans, a pair of sneakers, and a hoodie, so I can look like some other schmuck in the street the minute I land if I have to. So, but anyway, folks, be safe out there. Watch these situations. I got some other updates that are going to post throughout the week. I'm trying to get, hey, Carpenter, I'm trying to get you guys current information, because it's evolving very quickly. Prepper Now had a really good update last night. I caught most of it, and it was on his, not Prepper Now, it was the other channel he has, the Crisis Report. So make sure you folks are paying attention. Watch how these situations evolve, because when they evolve very fast. So anywhere, folks, God bless, Godspeed. Do your homework before you get in a plane, a train, or a car, because I don't think this is the end of it. We're going to see a lot of this instability shit. You know, we had it in 2020, but it was a different demographic fighting the cops, and now all they did was find two new groups to put against each other just in time for election year. So be careful when you're out there, and learn from other people's mistakes so you don't suffer the same mistake. I don't know, that sounds pretty straightforward. Anyway, guys, God bless, Godspeed. I will see you all later, and be careful.